Hello everyone, my name is Sierra Johnson, and in this presentation I will be talking about the Assure model. The Assure model was established in 1982 by Dr. Robert Hynek, Dr. Michael Molenda, and Dr. Robert D. Russell. In 2002, Sharon Smaldino became a co-author of the same text, Instructional Technology and Media for Learning. This was a time when computers were first being introduced into schools, so this model was designed specifically for integrating technology into the classroom. The Assure model is a guide for planning and delivering content, a systematic approach, an assessment tool, and an organizational tool. The Assure model incorporates Robert Gagne's events of instruction to assure effective use of media in instruction. And while Gagne uses 9, this process uses 6 steps. Assure is an acronym. A, analyze learners. S, state objectives. S, select media and materials. U, utilize media and materials. R, require learner participation. And E, evaluate and revise. The first step in the process is to analyze your learners. Who are your students? You should know who your students are. For example, their demographics, prior knowledge, learning styles, and academic abilities. S, state standards and objectives. Follow the ABCDs of learning objectives. A, audience. For whom is the objective intended? B, behavior. What is the behavior or performance to be demonstrated? C, conditions. What are the conditions under which the behavior or performance will be observed? And D, degree. To what degree will the knowledge or skill be mastered? You also will use your state mandated performance standards in this part of the process. S, select media and materials. First, you have to figure out which delivery method will be best for your instruction. Will you use a teacher-led or student-led instruction? Then select the media and materials you need for your lesson. This can be as simple as choosing textbooks and dry erase markers and whiteboards to more sophisticated ones, such as using a PowerPoint presentation. Utilize technology, media, and materials. Follow the 5 Ps. Preview the technology, media, and materials. This means making sure your lesson runs smoothly and doing a dry run ahead of time. Prepare the technology. You need to gather all of the things you need for this lesson. They must be in working condition, and you must make sure everything is ready for your students before they arrive. Prepare the environment. There is some minimal preparation required to set up the learning environment. Simple things like making sure that you have enough desks are important. Prepare the learners. It's important to tell the students how they will be assessed and what you expect of them. You need to tell them what their assignments will be, how they will be graded, and if there will be tests. Provide the learning experience. This is where you actually carry out the lesson. R, require learner participation. How are you going to actively engage learners in the lesson? This needs to be specific and not just that they will sit and listen to instruction. Think pair shares, specific note taking, group discussions, smartboard interactions are all examples of how to get students to participate during lessons. Evaluate and revise. This is one of the most important steps, but it's often overlooked. Did your lesson meet the learning objectives that you planned? Can this lesson be improved? Was your choice of media and materials a good one? Is it possible that other technologies, media, and materials would have done a better job? This is one example of Assure where a 6th grade science teacher decided to use the Assure model to make this lesson on keys to conservation, where students were required to bring in an energy bill from home and input this data into a spreadsheet, along with researching ways to conserve energy and presenting it in a paragraph form. This is another example of an Assure model used by an 11th grade English teacher who was introducing the first act and scene of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. In the require learner participation section of the Assure model, this teacher decided to do a student and teacher-led activity. Students were required to first read aloud the play, and then they had to listen to it, and then they watched a YouTube clip of the play. They were then split into small groups where they had to work together to rewrite this first scene and then present it in a PowerPoint. How I would use this Assure model in my classroom. For analyzing my learners, I have a kindergarten class of 24 students. 14 boys, 10 girls, no IEPs, 4 students in EIP. For state standards, this is read common high frequency words by sight, otherwise known as sight words. Um, I decided to use, for the other S, teacher-led instruction and student-led instruction. I will need a DVD, a smart TV, sight word folders, crayons, sight word paper, and a multi-sensory screen for writing, which you can see in the bottom right corner. I followed the 5 Ps. I checked all of my technologies. I did a dry run of my lesson, and I made sure all my students had every material that they needed for this lesson. Our students are required to participate in this lesson by listening to the song on the DVD, then singing along, and then they have to stand up and dance and sing along. So we listen to the song 3 times. Students then complete the red word drill, which is the Orton Gillingham drill, at their seats, where they write this sight word on their screens 3 times. And then we split up into literacy centers where they will work with other students and do small group work on sight words. And this usually involves a game. For evaluate and revise, I assess students on Fridays on their sight word knowledge and if they've been learning the sight words we've been practicing all week. I also discuss with students after every lesson their favorite parts of the sight word lessons for whole group and for our small group work. And I'm always finding new ways to introduce sight words to my students. Here are some references that I used for this presentation, and I hope you all have a better understanding of the Assure model.